So, kind of a big deal in Linkin Park news. They released a brand new song that was not on From Zero. The song is called Up From the Bottom. Had a fantastic new music video. I really like this style that they've done in the last couple music videos with Up From the Bottom, the new one, and then Two-Faced before that. Definitely new metal-ish vibes there. I'm hoping maybe Mike Shinoda is kind of warming up to the fact that it's okay to be new metal, because it's the best genre. But anyways, Johan of course directed the video, and it's awesome. Give it a look. It's a lot of fun. Song kind of blew up overnight. I think within the first 12 hours the video had 1 million plays, and it's at the moment probably already past 5 million views. It was at 4.8 last I checked, but that was like 10 hours ago. So great new song, great new video, doing very well. But that was also a teaser for the fact that they are releasing a From Zero Deluxe Edition May 16th. That is going to feature 3 new tracks, including Up From the Bottom. There's also 2 other tracks that are going to be included as well, and 5 live recorded tracks from the tours so far. And they're going to have, of course, a bunch of new vinyl versions for this, and then there's the 2-disc CD version as well, which I already pre-ordered. I was kind of hoping that if they did this deluxe edition, it would also include like a CD with the instrumentals as well. I mean, I know they did the acapellas and instrumentals. I'm not really interested in the acapellas thing, but the instrumentals for sure, to be able to pop that CD in my little CD player and listen to, would be really awesome. Because I love everything Linkin Park. Everybody knows this. But the instrumentals, I am a huge fan of being able to put those on between the paper cut, greatest hits, where we got a bunch of the older songs in instrumental form, and then of course From Zero, where we got the entire album in instrumental form. Being able to put those on in the background, whether it's working out, working on content on the computer, gaming, or even just kind of having, on my phone in my pocket as I walk around, and just not even paying attention, because without the lyrics there, you just listen to the music. It's a little less distracting if you're doing other tasks, but it's also just really cool to really hear the arrangement and composition of their music, the individual musicians and their performance together is really something special that I'm really glad Linkin Park does for us. I would have loved to have gotten a CD of that in the deluxe edition, but I'm happy to get a brand new CD and the 3 new songs. That's gonna be crazy. We're like 6 months, no, not even 6 months since the album released. The announcement was just over 6 months ago, but we're only like 4 months since the album released, and we're getting 3 bonus tracks. These were tracks that apparently were in the works during the From Zero sessions that they decided just didn't work. And then I think they said that one of them was something they came up with and worked on after the tour as well. But they finished the songs, and now as like a bonus thing, they do work. So we're going to get those, and we're going to get 5 live tracks on CD. So that's going to be pretty cool. New packaging, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, May 16th, that's when it comes out, and I'm really excited for it. I think everybody should check out the new song, Up From the Bottom. So we're back again to talk about the movie industry. This is a topic I've always been very passionate about my entire life. But I find it interesting that we're to a point now where not only are we turning cinemas into like full-fledged restaurants, putting reclining chairs and serving wine and beer and all these different things, like literally having like tables and chairs and sitting there having dinner in the movie theater. To me, these are all things like that completely, like they totally conflict with the experience of going to the movies, because I don't want to sit and listen. I already don't want to hear popcorn, right? That can be annoying as enough, but at least with popcorn, it's a little bit more aesthetically, you can deal with it, right? It's a little bit different. and it's usually drowned out by the sound of the film anyways. But like this idea that we're going to sit there and have somebody sitting there just smacking on a steak or a burger or wings or something like that and chugging down a glass of wine, I'm just not a fan of this. I think the point of going to the theater is to sit and watch a movie without distractions. Your phone is supposed to be off or silenced and in your pocket. You have a cup of soda, you have a bucket of popcorn, and you just sit there and you enjoy that, right? The whole point that the focus is supposed to be the movie, the experience, the big screen, the big sound, the darkness, nothing else around you, nothing to bug you. You're not really supposed to be talking either. But we're apparently trying to lure people to the cinemas with pickleball courts and such now as well. Like, I don't even know what's going on. Used to be there was an arcade out front for when you were waiting for your showtime or when you got out of your movie, and then you went and watched a movie. But it's all like kind of evidence to what's going wrong with the entire industry, the theater business, but also just Hollywood. They've once again lost touch with what brings people to the theater. A couple years ago, we had this phenomenon. It's called Top Gun Maverick. And it was about 2 years after, COVID and all that kind of stuff happened. And it managed to not just make well over $1 billion, but it did it for like 4 or 5 months. Like, it just constantly brought people back to the theater. And because of that, other films benefited as well. You go to the movie theater, you have that experience, and sometimes you see it in multiple formats. I saw Maverick 3 times. Once in ScreenX, which I think is the best way to see a movie. Then again in IMAX, and then in normal format. It was worth it for that experience. The film was worth trying each different experience and seeing it multiple ways. And I think a lot of people did that, but also word of mouth. A lot of people just told everyone else how great it was, and everyone was hearing it from every angle. So they went and seen this movie. It was one of those once in a lifetime kind of movie experiences. Made a ton of money, brought people back to theater, and for a little bit there had people a little bit more excited and interested in going to the movie theater. The next year came around, and we had a new Mission Impossible, which did well. We had Jurassic World Dominion, which, despite whatever critics or fans said about it, it did make over $1 billion worldwide. It wasn't an incredible smash hit, but it did its business. But then you had phenomenons like the Barbenheimer situation with the Barbie film and Oppenheimer. Whatever you think of Barbie, the film, if it had any messaging, or I haven't seen it, the fact is it did do something different and unique, and it was not yet another cookie cutter Marvel film, right? So you made a ton of money at the box office from those. So for a couple years there, it was like they had it. They knew what was bringing people back. It wasn't pickleball courts. It wasn't wine and dinner and people smacking on food throughout the film. It was just putting stuff out there that was interesting and different and was good, at least in the sense of well made. And the last couple years, we've fallen right back into the trap of everything being the next cookie cutter copy paste Marvel garbage and Disney live action remakes that nobody wants to see, nobody asked for. So once again, we're back to trying to find gimmicks that are going to bring people to the theater. Meanwhile, you've got films. We have the Snow White film that's bombing, but then you got films like Jason Statham's action thriller A Working Man. Not a big cost movie, not promoted hugely, but it made like $15.2 million. Opened number 1 and bumped Snow White, which dropped 66% in its second weekend. And honestly, it's the type of movie that could chug along, making a few $1 million every weekend. And there you go. It's not a huge hit. It's not a Top Gun Maverick. It's not a Barbenheimer. It's not a Mission Impossible. But it's that kind of thing. It's like it just offers something that like your average person might want to go check out. Your average movie-going male, because that's most of who goes there. There is hope, though. Later this summer, we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. And there is the new Jurassic World film that I think looks pretty cool. So maybe we'll get a little bit of a spike there, but overall it's the same BS from a few years ago. It's like they just don't learn. Like Tom Cruise gave you the blueprint and you just completely forgot in 2 years. So Monster Hunter Wilds came out a few weeks back. I believe it was the end of February, so about a month ago. And I haven't been playing it non-stop, but I've been consistently playing it at least a few times a week. There's multiple games I play at the moment. I'm a little more casual on First Ascendant, although they did do some pretty big updates, and there's some good things going on there. I also played like 700 hours of that game over the summer, fall, winter of 2024. But First Ascendant is still there. On almost a nightly basis, I play some Balatro. I get addicted to that game. I have a couple other games I've downloaded from Game Pass that I want to give a try. And then there's Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds is awesome. But it's also the kind of game where I know I want to sit and dedicate at least an hour solid of playing it without like wanting to do anything else. Because once you get engaged in one of the hunts for one of the big monsters, sometimes it could be a 15-20 minute experience, and then you might want to go do a little resource gathering or exploring or just do random side quests or something. So I like to make sure I have at least an hour set aside to just play Monster Hunter Wilds, and that's not every single night. So I do play consistently 2-3 times a week, and I'm on like chapter 3.2 or something like that now, if you know where that is in the story. But it's a fantastic game, and I played Monster Hunter World when it came out on the Xbox One. That game felt like it was a little too ambitious for the hardware that was available at the time. I may eventually re-download and get a little bit more into that again, but with Wilds, I'm pretty occupied with that at the moment. But it's one of those games where the graphics are fantastic. The gameplay arc is really good, or the gameplay loop, excuse me. The storyline is actually fairly interesting, although that stupid little kid, I cannot stand him, and it's such a trope in Japanese games, I swear. There's always got to be this one little wussy little kid. But anyways, characters up and down the cast are awesome. And like I said, it's a lot of fun to play, and it feels like an improvement in every single way upon World. But I do have to sometimes push myself through certain hurdles in the game. There are moments when I'm fighting monsters, and yes, before anybody comments on it, I know that there are ways with your armor or whatever to reduce being stunned, I believe. But there are times where I'm fighting some of the boss monsters and stuff like that where I find myself screaming at the TV, "Get up! Get up!" And I get, but this is not just a Monster Hunter problem. This is most video games. I get really, really, really frustrated at stun and like knockdown stuff because it feels like, and yes, I know, not a real world situation, and in the real world, maybe you would take 8 minutes to roll over and stand back up. But I feel like when you're a trained hunter who does this for like a living, it's like what you do is fight these monsters. Maybe you don't do that, but either way, it's a really fun game. But there are those moments that I have to kind of push myself through where like I said, I'm screaming at the TV, at the character to get up. Like, just get up. But I also have to remember it's the kind of game, it's not even like a Dark Souls game where it's that whole stupid, attack, dodge, parry, blah, blah, blah. It's just a game that takes a little bit more patience. The combat is not actually meant to be a hack and slash game. And so maybe it's my fault for allowing myself to fall into that pattern of thinking where I think about it and try to play it as if it is. But it's very much not. It's more methodical than that. The action might be fast-paced when it's happening, but the actual things you're doing in the midst of that is more methodical. You have the opportunity to attack the monster, kind of retreat from it. It's not going to sit there and like heal up on you or any of that kind of weird stuff. It's kind of like it takes the damage, it takes the wounds, and it's there. So that's nice. But like you can kind of retreat. Oh my god, I'm getting hurt. I need to use the whetstone on my weapon and sharpen it back up. So you call over your chocobo dinosaur, and I think it's called a secret, but it's like a velociraptor version of a chocobo. You call that over, hop on it, and it kind of gives you a moment to catch your breath and use a healing item, use a status heal item, or use the whetstone, things like that, right? Use a buff, whatever it is. But you have to remember that. You know, it's easy to forget and try to play it like it's a hack and slash or like it's a Souls-like. It's not. It's more methodical. The battles are meant to take 15 to 20 minutes at times. And there's times where you're fighting the creature and it like decides to run off somewhere else to try and escape you, and you got to pursue it. That also gives you that opportunity to buff up or heal up or whatever. But really great game, and I hope I have the patience to put more into it. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Kudos to Capcom. It may be a game that I play throughout the entire year and still not beat, but I'll consistently stick to it.